welcome to the season finale of Season 1, Episode 24 of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. I'm Tim, and with me is my co-host Patrick. How you doing, buddy?
Let's go! It's over! We did it!
Mission complete.
Excited for us. Look at us.
Yeah,
Who would have thought?
I know. Who would have thought we'd get here?
Yeah.
So I sent you a few different categories of awards. I guess we should start off with awards, or do you want to just start off with general ranking stuff first? Where do you think?
I think you've said the rankings so many times to the public. They
say
don't
that
need
later.
to hear it again. But
Fair enough. So let's go with categories.
yeah, let's go.
So I sent you a few. You sent me a couple.
Mm-hmm.
We do not know each other's votes or picks or anything yet.
I think we do, just based on how we've ranked things already. But yeah, let's go.
Probably. Maybe there'll be some surprises.
Wouldn't mind
So, should we? I wonder. I'm trying to think. Like, do we do certain things like Academy Award wise and save certain things? But the heck with that confusion. Let's go with the big one right off the bat. Who was your favorite hero of Season 1?
John Rambo.
Same.
Yeah.
It's Sylvester Stallone, John Rambo, and First Blood for sure.
They drew first blood. Nah, Rambo's an iconic hero.
He is.
And especially this movie is just, oh my God, it's so good.
It's got the action beats, it's got the character, it's got the drama with it. Again, that whole ending scene is just perfect, and it's kind of hard to go against Rambo. It really is.
And so sympathetic. You feel so bad for him throughout the whole thing. But
You
you
do.
know he's not exactly 100% the good guy, especially as it keeps on going. He gets more driven into his pathology, and he's just like, going nuts and so
escalated things just maybe a tad bit too much, but
he just did things the way he knew how, the way the government trained him, and he had that gray to him that like just about no other hero we had this year. That just put him over the top by far.
for sure. I mean, it's I guess I'm trying to think of another one, but no, they don't treat any other hero in any of these movies having some kind of gray area.
Well, Jack
Rambo's
Cates
probably-
maybe, but he's just kind of an asshole.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So wow, first one off the bat.
All
right.
I had a runner-up though.
Oh yeah, who's your runner-up?
That would be Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah. I actually slotted in. I did this before I watched Conan for the podcast, and I slotted Conan in first just because of my own bias and how much I've loved that movie growing up. And then I was like, no, as much as I do love Conan so much, I really do have to slot Rambo in there over, and I ended up changing my vote. And I did that before even rewatching Conan, which I'll admit though, rewatching Conan, that it is such a great part. And Arnold's really good in it. It's doing a very different thing. He doesn't have to be as dramatic. It's not telling that kind of a serious story.
You know what I love about that?
More comedic elements.
You know what I love about it is they don't ask him to do the Bond one-liners too.
Right.
Which he nonstop for a while in the 80s. It's just like he was
For
Roger
sure.
Moore all of a sudden. Like, oh
Yep.
God.
They have to be there. You're
But they're
almost
not there
expecting
in Conan yet. It's like, it's so much better.
Yeah, they're really not, and I love too just how much he does facially and his expressions throughout that movie. So that was all solid. But does it overtake Rambo? Probably
not at all.
No, yeah.
Best action villain of 1982, Tim.
Am I going first?
Yeah.
Okay, Thulsa Doom.
Really?
Yeah, I loved him. James Earl Jones is so good in this freaking movie.
Wow.
I know he could have been. Didn't have the physical presence and all that. I think he's the most memorable to me.
I gotta go with Sheriff Teasel from First Blood again.
Wow. See, it's kind of interesting because both of our characters, both of our picks are not quite the most physical threats to our opponents. But they're both equally big, ideologically different to their counterpart heroes type of deal. Teasel, I don't know. Teasel, I think you could easily just kind of be like, this guy's just kind of an a-hole.
He is, but he's not a psychopath. He's just trying to do his job the way he thinks it should be done. He's wrong. He is wrong, right. John Rambo, 100%. But he's sort of like Ahab with this guy, but right. He never goes completely over the edge, and he sort of admits that he's wrong at some point in the movie. When he's having
then he doubles back down to it.
Well, yeah. Well, he's Ahab. He's like, I got the whale. Yeah. The whale's back.
Yeah, it's true.
And I love that aspect. And it's such a recognizable character. It's like, right. We have a million of these assholes.
He's an archetype. Yeah.
Yeah. In the world today. It's like, oh, I hate this guy. And Brian Dennehy is so good.
Yeah, he is fantastic in that movie for sure. I just never thought any villain in this season ever had any moments at highs as much as James Earl Jones does in Conan. Again, especially in the scene, where he does flesh is stronger than steel.
Best monologue might go to Dulce Doom.
It's such a good scene, and how he convinces someone just to jump off and kill themselves. How he could kind of just give someone a look and then is able to drop their defenses to chop off their head. The speeches he gives, I just think he's such a freaking good villain. And it's just too much fun, and I think so much more memorable than Teasel, and that's why I did that pick. But he would be my number 2 pick. Would be Teasel.
Well, my number 2
followed by Humongous. Would be my 3rd pick.
My runner-up was Stegman from Class of 1984.
Wow.
Who had the number 2 monologue in this year, I think. You've got to learn. Life is pain. Pain is everything. You will learn. And yes, I am the future.
It's good. It is. He would definitely be in my
Stegman
top 5.
is an excellent villain just because he constantly outsmarts the hero in that movie. And he is always 1 to 2 steps ahead, and he feels genuinely scary. Because the realism of the character. Because I could see a student just being this effing nuts. It's not that much of a stretch. Probably not as successful as a criminal, but to
right.
But to torture a teacher like this, I can see that happening.
Right, because it's definitely like psychological torture that he's inflicting, and that's kind of like a hard thing to prove in a court of law, obviously. So I think that's a good runner up for sure. He was a lot of fun.
Best action stunts of 1982.
It's the Junkman.
Yeah, Tim.
Yeah, for sure, without a doubt. That whole sequence of just insane stunt after insane stunt after insane stunt, plane flying below freaking bridges and cars blowing up and ramps, and it's insane.
Yeah, the literally death-defying in everything going on in the Junkman.
Your jaws drop basically watching the whole time. You're like, oh my God, like how has no one died?
Yeah, no, you definitely asked that question, and they went to the hospital a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember if you told me it was the original one or in that one where he I think it was the original, and then they ended up using it in the sequel. Is that what it was?
Yeah,
where he got into an accident. Yeah,
he hit a pole or whatever, and he's like, "Did we get the shot?" He put it in the movie. Yeah, that's all he cared about.
It's so good. I mean, the rest of the movie falters for sure.
Yeah.
So it as much as it sadly got knocked out eventually out of the top 5 and such, it's still something so memorable that we could not encourage people to check out more.
Yeah.
Is probably that movie, just because it's insane what they pull off. And I mean, even you could say for the era, but even in modern day times, it's like, wow, because almost all of this would be different in CGI.
It would be illegal.
Like yeah, there's no way you get away with this. So it's impressive.
It's on YouTube. Watch it.
Yeah.
Runner up
for action.
Yeah.
I did not think about runner-ups very much for all of these picks, so I have to think about that more.
Okay.
Did you have a runner-up?
I did. With a heavy heart, apologies to George Miller, I went with First Blood again.
I mean, First Blood did have some really impressive stuff.
And it's nonstop. It's constantly with the great action beats.
It's
and
probably
that's what puts it
paced.
over Road Warrior for me, because just we're just getting action beats.
It's probably the best paced.
Yes.
Like if it was best paced.
The sheer quantity, and it's all good.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. I'm remembering him falling from the tree again, which is like crazy. But I don't know. I might still have to give it to Road Warrior as my runner-up.
Which, like I said, that's right there. I mean,
yeah, I think you're right. If you're gonna make of a whole movie, pacing and all that kind of stuff, First Blood's just a better action movie because it's just better paced throughout a whole movie. Road Warrior, it's not till that ending that you get to a point where you're like, whoa, there's some crazy stuff. That huge giant explosion that they got by the army.
The last 13 minutes of the movie is the closest any movie came touching the Junkman. And equally, the Junkman really in the last 13 minutes.
Yeah, but flipping the truck, I mean, heck. Yeah, it's just some great stuff. So I think that would be my runner-up, just on like, wow, that was impressive what I just saw. Mm-hmm. But I think if you're going to go just consistency and pace, yes, it would be First Blood. Yeah.
So you want to give me your best sidekick of 1982?
Is that the next one?
Yeah. Best sidekick.
Oh, best sidekick is Eddie Murphy, Reggie Hammond, 48 Hours.
It's not even close.
It's not even close.
Like there's not even sorry to everyone else.
Yeah. There's not even a runner-up. There's no point in putting another runner-up.
Iconic character.
Yeah,
Eddie Murphy is
iconic.
Straight flames. Just incredible.
It set Eddie Murphy to superstardom. I mean, it greenlit a sequel, got a sequel because of him. I mean, as we reviewed it, like, wow, it's amazing how much Eddie Murphy really made this movie and turned it up another level.
100%.
Yeah.
It just would have been probably a shit movie without him. Really would have.
Probably would have been very meh.
No one else is in the stratosphere, but I do want to do an honorable mention. And when I say it's a runner-up, it's, he's not on the podium because there's no one else on the podium with Reggie Hammond.
Yeah.
But he's in the stadium. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
And everyone else is outside the stadium. Terry Corrigan in Class of 1984, played by Roddy McDowall.
Okay. This is interesting because
love that dude.
The next question that I have on here is, who was your favorite mentor?
Yeah.
I put him as my favorite mentor.
That's fair.
So that's my award winner for favorite mentor.
He's a terrible mentor, but
I mean, is he though? He's like trying to get him not to do these things and not to antagonize, not to piss off these kids. The problem is the hero never listens to the mentor.
True.
And he was telling him he's maybe not a good teacher, obviously, by the things he was doing and being a drunk all the time. But like, he had common sense, and the hero never listened to him. And he was a freaking delight and stole the show every time he was there. And he's my pick for best mentor of the year. I thought he was so much fun.
Very fair. Very fair.
Yeah.
You're not going to like my choice for best mentor. In fact, I'm going with Colonel Troutman from First Blood.
Oh, the who I scored very low.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, he built that machine that we call John Rambo, and he brought him in the end. Saved his life.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And everything he does, he's like basically Rambo's hype man throughout the whole movie too, which I just love. Sure. Like,
yeah,
God didn't make Rambo, I did.
Is he hyping Rambo up, or is he hyping himself up there with that line?
Fair enough. That one he's sort of hyping himself up, but he's just like, he keeps on telling like Teasel, like, you're gonna bring your men up there, Rambo's gonna kill your men.
Yeah.
It's not even funny. You want me to talk to him and try to bring him down? Okay. I'm trying.
It's weird. There's times where I'm like
trying to coax the cat to come to the mouse.
He's good at what he's doing, and then there's other times I just found him kind of corny and not great in his.
He created the archetype, and
I know. I remember your argument the last time, right. But it just never hits completely with me because I just like there's this corny cheeseballness that comes off in some of his lines.
I'll be honest, he was the only one I really thought of as a mentor in throughout the whole year too. I mean, I see your argument for Terry and it makes sense.
It was kind of hard. There was definitely way more sidekicks this season than there were mentors.
Yeah,
for sure.
At least a lot more good sidekicks than there were good mentors.
Right. Yeah.
So, what did you come with the best action movie of 1982, Tim?
Is that what we're doing next?
Yeah.
So favorite action movies, how I worded it, but
sorry. Yep.
I did Conan the Barbarian. I did Conan
over First Blood.
I am biased. I have a lot of childhood nostalgia stuck with this movie. There's so much rewatchability to Conan. It's an easier watch to go through. I think there's more fun to be had in Conan the Barbarian. It's got some humor going in with it. Like, I feel like if I it's not quite bedtime yet, let me throw on a movie. Am I going to throw on Conan or am I going to throw on First Blood? And I'm probably going to end up throwing on Conan.
I'm going to report you to the local VFW. You are not welcome. You're not honoring John Rambo's sacrifice.
I put Rambo as the number one movie in 1982, okay? But the thing was favorite.
Okay,
right?
okay.
You have favorite and personal connections to. Rambo is still not going to overtake Conan for me, but I understand First Blood is a better movie and a better action movie, and that's why it's number one on our list. But favorite-wise, yeah, I still love Conan. There's just too much fun to be had with that movie. That does enough to overcome some of the lacking at times with the action in the movie. Every other category steps up its game for it.
Okay. I mean, personally, I like good action in action movies.
You're such a jerk.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
There is some good action in it, but yeah, it's definitely lacking a bit in it. But again, all the other categories step up for it, and it's good. And I agree. Again, I agree First Blood was the number one spot of the season. And I'm assuming that's your pick for this category.
For best action movie? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Runner-up was Conan, but I'm not some communist hippie jerk putting Conan above First Blood.
Yeah. Well.
John Miles is going to have some words with you.
Whatever.
Sorry. John Miles is going to have words with me. What am I talking about? I'm taking that backwards.
Yeah. We kind of
Stallone's going to have some words with you.
One of these categories. One of the categories was an honorable mention for any of the previous categories that was a tough call.
Yeah.
So we kind of skipped over that one. But,
well, I didn't know what order you had them in. You didn't give me the actual list, but
yeah, that was my next one. An honorable mention for many of the previous categories that was a tough call.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we should maybe save that one for last. Maybe once we've gone over all.
You've already said categories. It, so just do it for it now.
All right, mine was Arnold. For Hero. It was a tough call for me.
That you picked John Rambo over?
But I picked Rambo. Okay. I picked John Rambo over Conan. But it was a tough call where I did slot Conan in at first, and then I switched it. So that was a tough call. But I overruled myself, and I thought that was the right choice.
Mine was Teasel over Stegman.
Wow.
Stegman's got almost like on a Heath Ledger Joker level of...
I could see that.
Just... absolutely nuts. Don't know what the kid's going to do at any moment in time. Really scary and effective.
Yeah.
But Teasel being more realistic puts him over the top for me. Just like, yeah, I know this person still exists today. This worst cop.
Sociopath.
Yeah.
I kind of want to skip some categories and go right to favorite first-time watch of action movies in 1982.
You don't want to do most memorable action sequence?
I want to skip it for now because I feel like it ties to what you're talking about, because favorite first-time watch for me is Class of 1984.
It's Junkman for me, but yeah, that's right there. They're tied, basically. I love them both so much. Class of 84 is definitely the better movie.
It's a better movie through and through. I could see myself rewatching 84. I don't know if I do go back to Junkman, it's only to watch that one part, you know.
The one part? There's so many great action scenes in that movie, but yeah.
Well, no, the one sequence, the beginning action or not beginning, but you know that action sequence there in the desert or whatever. Although there was an okay one towards the end, I guess too, but.
Going over all the cars and then the grandmother.
Driving over them and the grandmother. Yeah. I guess I don't know. I guess I was more completely shocked and surprised by 1984. Like I didn't see that one coming.
Class of 1984. Yeah. No,
really didn't. And I think that's why I made it my pick because I was like, I thought this was going to be bad. I made it my pick, and I was like, I know this is going to be bad. And I came away being like, "Wow, that was pretty good." Like, I was really entertained by that movie.
I remember watching the trailer. I'm like, "Well, the trailer's not doing it any favors." But I think that blending of action and horror just really made me warm up to it that much more. I love the movie.
And again, Stegman is a great villain.
Yeah,
you have this dopey hero who is, you know, you get frustrated with, but it's not like he's bad by any means. Of course. Cool sidekick / mentor who I loved. But yeah, can't go wrong. That ending is great. Well, the part's getting to the very end, should I say.
Yeah, the last 15 minutes, just out of this world great. So what's next? Time. What's next?
Did you make your pick? Yours was Junkman, you said, right? Favorite
I had it tied with the Junkman in Class of 1984. Yeah.
Okay. I guess the next one was what action genre did we get too much of or did not get enough of?
I did miss this question.
Yeah, I picked, just to help you, I guess, there. For too much of, I thought post-apocalyptic movies. I thought there was like too much of that in this movie or this year. And I thought we didn't get enough buddy cop movies.
Sure. I think the one genre that I could do without or do less of was the sword and sorcerer type stuff. Sword and sorcerer and sorceress.
Like, sword and sandal movies.
Yeah, the fantasy stuff. I was like, this is too much of this. This isn't great.
That's a good call. There was a lot of bad
nobody
ones.
Really stood out as far as action wise, even though Conan is a great movie, the best of the bunch. But it's like even action and all of it is just like the sword play is trash.
Terrible. Yeah, even the Beastmaster, which was another childhood one.
Trash
this is
action.
Rough.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of our bottom tier movies ended up being sword and sandal movies, so that's a pretty good pick. Yeah.
And if there's one I'm missing from 1982, it'd be a Bond movie.
Oh, good call.
Bum we didn't get a Bond movie this year.
I guess Bond should be its own subgenre of action. Yes.
Yeah.
He's the original action hero. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. That was kind of a bummer. All right. I guess the difference is. I guess is the last question here already, right?
Well, you still didn't do most memorable action sequence.
I thought we did.
No, we did not do most memorable action sequence.
Oh, my bad.
You kept on saying you wanted to delay it for like the end or something.
Oh. Most memorable action sequence for me is the junk man and the very long stunt spectacular that included the plane sequence going under the bridge. That specific part of stuff was just mind-boggling to me.
I have the same thing, but specifically in that long, like, what, half an hour, 40 minutes? I think it's 40 minutes, something like that, of that chase scene. When the plane crashes into the car and explodes, that's like, how'd they do that? Oh my God.
I don't know. It's amazing.
How did nobody die? They went to the hospital with lots of stitches, but somehow nobody died.
I mean, it shows like every time those things happen in that movie, there is a rush of people running to the car. And it's supposed to be like, oh, these are just good Samaritans checking on people. But I'm pretty sure that is just like, we have to do this to make sure someone didn't die.
Yeah. Nuts.
It's insane. Yeah. So, yeah, we have a lot of the same picks.
Yep.
So I guess the last question now is big differences between action movies of 1982 and today.
Yep.
And I feel like 1982 is interesting because it seems to me, without looking back at 1980 and 81 yet, maybe down the road. But it seems like they're just figuring out action movie tropes.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're just figuring out. And I feel like today is more like these tropes have been done for so long and they're tired, and how can we kind of turn them on their head?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How
do we subvert them? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I feel like the biggest difference is between 82 and today is figuring out the trope and how do we subvert the trope is like the biggest difference between the two.
Okay. A lot more nudity and rape in 1982.
Yeah, good call.
I'm happy the rape and the brutalizing of women is no longer a staple of the action genre.
For sure.
But I miss the nudity. That was fun.
Nudity's fun, but then you get like, you see like another like quote from an interview from an actress who was getting like,
it's like I was exploited. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, it's like yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool.
I don't want that either.
Yeah, no, I know. Is there a best of both worlds we can throw in here?
Yeah, not everyone complains or has a terrible experience, so I want more of those. Not terrible experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Just some good-looking people that are naked on screen. That's not a lot to ask, is it?
Right. Yeah.
In a non-exploitive way.
Sure.
Just
maybe it is. I don't know.
Just celebrate these action bodies.
For sure. Bodies. And hey, it could go both ways. Whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Hanks and Dom. I won't complain.
Yeah.
We're overdue.
They still won't do that, but they used to show like someone's butt on a action movie star's butt here or there.
Yeah, Mel Gibson flashes ass all the time.
Yeah, Bruce Willis I think did it at one point.
Sure.
Yeah, Stallone did it.
No, Willis actually hung Dom on screen.
That's true.
He's step above most of those other action guys.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah.
So that's everything, right?
Yeah, I think that's all the categories. I think it's interesting. I think we're mostly the same.
Mm-hmm.
We're not too different there.
We know the worst action movie of 1982.
Sorceress. Yeah, freaking Sorceress is brutal, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sorceress is the worst. Forced Vengeance was not good. You really hated Forced Vengeance.
It's tough because there were two Chuck Norris movies that year, and one was pretty dang good.
Yeah,
and then this one was like phoned in and terrible. So it's like it made it extra bad because I saw a good one, and what are you doing here?
If I'm guessing, if there was a movie close to the bottom that you would like to see pulled up, it would probably be Sword and the Sorcerer for you, I would assume.
Yeah, that movie's better than we gave it credit. I mean, as an action movie, it's not great. An action movie is terrible movie, but it's fun.
I guess.
Let me ask you
I
this.
think the sidekicks really saved it for you in that movie.
Yeah, it's some really funny side characters.
Yeah.
What out of all this list is there one you'd like to see remade today?
Remade today.
Yeah, all action movies we saw from 1982. It's like try that again, but do it better.
Yeah, I guess it would have to be somewhat towards the bottom here. I mean, you could probably make something cool out of Firefox, to be honest. I'm trying to think any other ones because there's some that I feel like is too in the moment that you couldn't remake. Like it just wouldn't work in today's. The Challenge probably.
That was my guess. The Challenge, I'd love to see them give it another shot too. Like you took a swing, you didn't make great contact. Enjoyable enough, but man, you could do so much better with this.
Yeah, I almost feel like you it's like one of the home run hitter that like just popped it up too high, so like the swing is there, it's just slightly missing there. Like you get that next at bat, and it's eventually going to get out of the park. It just wasn't quite there.
Yeah. The other one I was thinking is Silent Rage. There's more to do with that, like mixing up the horror and action genre there. Yeah,
I think that's a good point, especially because like if you clean up some of the stuff with the hero. And that ending fight was kind of rough, but I mean, if you clean up some of that, you clean up some of those things. Those are kind of quick things you could fix up to make those better movies.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you could probably do. I don't know if the Bronx Warriors could be, because the beauty of the Bronx Warriors is how absurd.
Hammer.
Yeah, I don't know if that could be remade.
Hammer is God. Hammer.
Yeah, for sure. But it's interesting, right? So we, because it seems like what Sorceress, Force Vengeance, Megaforce, Sword and the Sorcerer, and is the bottom 4, and then it's either I have Firefox and Bronx Warriors, you have Fighting Back and Death Wish 2. Those are the ones that are kind of like battling for that bottom 5 spot.
Yeah, I'm good with them not doing remakes of those movies. That's for sure.
Yeah, I definitely don't want.
I don't need another Death Wish ever.
Yeah, no more Death Wish or Fighting Back. We're pretty good. We had even more movies since then, obviously.
Well, it'll just be about like some MAGA douche, like.
Ugh, yeah.
That's the way they take it today. Like, I don't want to do this.
For sure. I'm curious if Eye of the Jury would be a fun one too.
Yeah, could be.
I don't know.
The Eye of the Jury is a remake. They made the movie before in like the 50s, I think. So yeah, it's that. I always love a Private Eye movie, so I would not be against it.
Yeah.
What about Class of 1984? Could you do that today?
That's a tough one, because I mean, I don't think so, because I think some people would have some problems with, alcoholic teacher, a teacher holding up students with a gun. Like, I just think
it's
so
probably
many social. Yeah, that's guns in schools, and to begin with already, is kind of like something that can get people going in a conversation. Like, that might be too hot of water for somebody to try to remake.
You're probably right. I like the idea, and I'm sure you'd probably appeal to this. The life of a teacher being absolute hell, and let's take it up a notch.
Yeah,
to an action
let's
movie.
look at the extreme version of this, and what happens when somebody snaps.
I'm
right?
scared of these damn kids.
Again, it was one of our surprise loves of the season. It was so much fun. But yeah, I just don't think in today's climate it could be possible right now.
You're probably right.
That instance too, like 48 hours. Like, I don't even know.
No, you can't do it. Sorry.
Yeah, there's so much racism thrown back at jokes.
No. You're not.
You can't recreate Eddie Murphy either.
Just,
so
don't touch it. Leave it alone.
For sure. It's like a genie in a bottle or whatever. It's lightning in a bottle, whatever the saying is, right? You can't recapture that.
Yeah,
for sure. But I think it's a pretty solid top 5, right?
Yeah.
First Blood, Conan, Road Warrior, 48 Hours, Class of 1984. Like, those are all pretty darn good movies, and I think everybody should check them out for sure.
Absolutely, 100%.
And special shout out again for One Down, Two to Go, which it finished like 12th or so, but it was still kind of fun to watch. As much as it had it's some issues and some problems with it. That ending battle is terrible.
It's a cheap movie made cheaply, but it's fun watching these actors get to play around for a while.
Yeah, it is a fun time.
Because they're all charming and charismatic for as little screen time as some of them get.
And the dog smoking a stogie is always fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't go wrong with that.
Can't.
Yeah. Well, all right. I think that's about everything that we wanted to cover.
That's a wrap on action movies of 1982.
Yeah, and we'll see. We might come back to action one day. Patrick and I are already talking about season 2 and plans are, so we'll announce when we have more concrete information, I guess. I don't know how early we don't need to announce what we're going to do season 2 yet, right? We can kind of do that. Or should we? I don't know. What do you think?
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so we're going to switch up the genre.
And the decade.
Yeah, and the decade. At first I was really wrapping my head around this, and I was like thinking like, we should just stick with the action. Maybe change up the decade, maybe. I was like worried to go too far away from what we've already done, but I was like, it'd be way more interesting to stay with what we're doing, I think, if we keep changing it up.
I agree.
Yeah, so we're going to go with our arguably, I would say our next favorite genre, probably your favorite genre.
That's accurate.
Yeah. And that would be the genre of horror. Yeah.
What decade, Tim?
The 1990s.
Woohoo!
Yeah, horror in the 1990s.
It can go really well or really bad, depending on what the wheel tells us.
Oh, yeah.
Luckily, we've already set down some ground rules. We don't have to do any of the direct-to-video stuff.
Yes, has to be U.S. release for sure.
Theatrical.
But, yeah, theatrical, yes. But we'll do a whole introductory premiere episode for season 2 as well. We'll start putting ads out there. And we'll kind of hammer out what the categories are going to be. Probably somewhat similar, but probably some changes that are more specific to horror. But anyway, we'll kind of figure all that out when that premieres. And I think we're also talking about maybe going more on a weekly basis, but we'll release those when we get.
Depends on how many vacations we take this summer.
That's for sure. Yeah, if we're gonna take a little bit of a break, short break, and then we'll get going.
I doubt you guys will miss a beat with us because we'll just keep on. We've pre-recorded so many of these things.
I know the people might be like, "Summer, what?"
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but it was fun, man. I had a good time, and hopefully we can make it continue to work and work out the logistics. And I hope everybody else had fun listening.
Let's go.
All right. Well, that is it for us. Please show your support for the podcast by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, wherever you happen to listen to the show. Also, sharing is caring. Be sure to follow us on social media to get the latest show updates. You can contact us by emailing at filmbroChamp@gmail.com or find us by searching for the hashtag FilmBroChamp. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Film Bros Trip Podcast. Peace out, everyone.
Nothing is over.
Ha ha ha.